Here's a rescued jade that I received from my aunt that I am going to attempt to improve its growth pattern and its living environment, I guess you can say. So as you can see, there are those red pots inside of the other pot, which is inside of that pot, which is inside of the crate. So I have to break this guy out of jail. Never done this before, so I took a moment and watched a bunch of YouTubes and read up on pruning jades and how to best help them. So first off, the best thing for a jade to thrive is well-draining soil and a fairly dry environment. So I found a terracotta pot. This one's 12-ish inches on the inside, which is bigger than the pot inside the crate that I received it in. So that's the pot I'm going to use. So the thing with terracotta pots is that they're very breathable, so they don't hold on to moisture for very long, which is advantageous for the roots of a jade, because a jade will die from wet feet, and I've killed many a jade in my past. They thrive on being neglected. That's why this jade has done fairly well, even in its not best living environment for its roots specifically. So anyway, I'm taking the beast out of the crate. It was secured in there with a bungee cord because it was so top heavy. So that's what we're gonna solve a little bit here. So I'm getting it out and taking a look at how hard it is to gonna break free of these pots inside the pots situation. The next step is to remove the pots that have been stuck inside this plant forever, and to try to save as much of the root ball as I can, which is kind of difficult. The pots kind of ended up like flaking off, kind of like that. This plant is upwards of 20 plus years old. So I was trying to be very gentle. I really don't want to ruin this plant. So I'm going to separate the 3 trunks and then clean their root balls and then put them all back together. So here I am kind of separating them and pulling off pieces of plastic as I do it. 2 came off pretty easily and they have very small root balls, but that's due to the plastic. And this last big one had a huge root ball, so I couldn't get the dirt off without the hose, so I sprayed off all of the old dirt. And now I'm gonna put it into the terracotta pot. So part of doing this, you want to make sure you're using a very well drained soil. So I bought a cactus succulent mix that I'm using straight out of the bag. It has very little fertilizer in it and lots of perlite, sand, a little bit of grit so that it drains really well. So that's what I'm starting with as the base, and then I'm going to do my best to put these guys back into the pot. I started with the largest root ball to secure it that way, and then I added the other 2. Once I've figured out how to finally secure these in place, then I will work on trimming off all the excess growth up top that is stretched and going outwards and downwards to help the plant recover, put more energy into root growth and trunk growth, and then it will start branching off and hopefully growing upward and not downward and outward as it was when I received it. So this is me trying to figure out the best situation. It was a lot harder than I had anticipated. Also trying to coordinate the weight and getting it secured inside of the pot. So I had to do some pruning. And I saved all those cuts, FYI, and I'll go over what I did with those later. But I eventually secure it all in there. Now that I have them arranged properly, I'm backfilling with more succulent soil and packing them down to try and secure those trunks as best as I can. But it is quite top heavy, so it was not the easiest task, probably the hardest one of all, trying to figure out how the arrangement how I wanted the arrangement to be, and then doing this with only one other hand because I had to keep hands on the trunk so that they wouldn't fall. Now that it's all kind of settled in place, I am going through and deciding how to prune it. So my first task is to kind of get rid of all the growth that is going outward and the growth that is going downward. Those were kind of hard decisions to make because I've never done this before. So I did my best. So we'll speed this up so you can see where we end up. And here she is, the final product, all pruned up in a new pot, in some new substrate. And I'm hoping for the best for her in the next few weeks. I'll do an update video to show you what she looks like, maybe in 6 weeks, which will be before I have to bring her in for winter, maybe a little longer. So be sure to tune back in and check on that. And next, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with all the cuttings. I waited a day so that the cuttings would all harden off, and I rinsed them off of all the excess dirt, and now I have them on a towel kind of drying off again and sorting through them to see what I can use and how I can use it. I'm using 3 different types of substrates to plant these up just to see which ones work best. The first one is what I'm doing here is a mixture of moss and number 4 perlite that I've dampened and I will use in small pots with the cuttings. Okay, there you have it. I have done all I can do with the pieces of jade that I was left from its major pruning. There's just a few pieces that are very leggy that are left, so I'm just gonna trash all those. But in summary, I've made 5 moss pots and 4 pots with succulent soil, and then there's like 6 or 7 cuttings in the water. So I will see how things progress and report back to you on it. And if you live in the area near Linden Boulevard, message me and I will get you a remnant of the monster plant that I repotted. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I hope everybody has a wonderful week.